I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we got a lot to discuss today. Rumors about the Niners supposedly, possibly trading for Aaron Rodgers. A lot of mystery teams out there now. We're going to be talking about the Jets signing Quinnen Jefferson as well, Tim Boyle as well. We got a lot to discuss, okay? So call in 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Give me 1 second, folks. We're going to connect the lines and get to it. Hold on.
Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it. Okay? I'm back at it again, man. All right? We are back. Let me tell you, we got a lot to discuss today. We're going to be talking about all these rumors swirling around the New York Jets right now. Still trying to obtain Aaron Rodgers, all right? The Packers seem to not want to let things go here. We're still going through this situation with the Packers. They just don't understand, man. But, we're going to keep pushing ahead. Craig Carton came out and had a rumor that he swung out there. We're going to be discussing that. We're also going to be discussing the New York Jets making some signings too. Tim Boyle, a guy that, a former Packers quarterback, is in the building. Quinnen Jefferson as well, former Seahawks defensive tackle, has been signed too. We're also going to be talking about Quinnen Williams. We got a lot to discuss, so let me go ahead and get into the show. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Your boy is also on iTunes as well, all right? Go on over to iTunes, type in The Long Beach Joe Show, okay? Subscribe to the podcast on there. Give me a 5-star rating, okay? And then give me some feedback. Let me know what you folks think about what I'm doing here on my show. I want to thank everybody that does that. Truly appreciate it. Your boy's also as well on Twitter, okay? Go on over to Twitter. Type in @The Long Beach Joe, @The Long Beach Joe, okay? On over there, follow the show. Give me some of your thoughts on there as well. Let me know how you're feeling. Go back and forth with me. I love that. Like having fun doing that, connecting with a lot of people. Also as well, for those of you that do not know, hey, this show is streamed live, okay? I know that there's a lot of people that be like, man, Joe, we didn't know, we heard the show. We like the takes. We like what you're giving us, but we didn't know you look so good. Hey, it is what it is. I'm just an average guy. I'm not cocky. I'm not arrogant. All right. I'm just trying to move and groove the way that I can. I'm saying. So if you want to see me, if you want to see the show, if you want to get involved with the Savages, okay, and I call my chat the Savages. Why? Because they're savage. Savage. I'm talking straight savage. Listen, they get after it. Okay, they don't care who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, nothing. If they don't like your takes, they're going to let you know about it. Nobody is safe. Not even me. Not even me. All right. So if you want to get involved and you want to come on by, see what's moving, shaking, and popping around, my neck of the woods, check out with the Savages as well. Come on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. So when I post content, you'll be in the know. Also, give the videos a thumbs up as well. All right. So we have a lot of fun and we do a lot of great things over here. Get involved any way that you can. Now, with all that said, we got to get to this news, man. We're going to get to the callers in just a second. Hold on. Salutes to all the callers on the line. We'll get to you in a second. Lines are hot. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking callers, filing in. Now, this week got off to kind of a crazy start. All right. We had Craig Carton come out and throw out a rumor. Okay. Throw out some things that, according to reports that he says that there's some mystery teams in the midst that could grab Aaron Rodgers straight out the New York Jets' hands if this trade doesn't get done and it falls apart. And the mystery team that he unveiled was the San Francisco 49ers. He's saying the San Francisco 49ers could be in the hunt to grab Aaron Rodgers, okay? He talked about compensation that the Niners could possibly give them, talked about the Niners being a great home for Aaron Rodgers. And when it was all said and done, and I heard this situation, I said to myself, I don't believe this rumor. Not only do I not believe this rumor, I believe that this entire situation has been drubbed up by the Packers, has been leaked out to try to gain some type of leverage, to try to think that, try to make people think that they've garnered some type of interest outside of the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, right? We all know the current situation. Now, here's the deal, right? The Jets and Packers have gone back and forth. Of course, the Packers, according to reports, wanted the Jets' first-round pick. We've known since then they've kind of come off of that ideal, okay, pretty publicly. They've talked about how, hey, maybe we don't really need a first-round pick. But when you look at the situation with Aaron Rodgers and this rumor, according supposedly the Niners are in the hunt for him, I looked at it and I said, wow, Aaron Rodgers has already come out and said that he does not want to have anything to do with playing for the San Francisco 49ers. At an AT&T Pro-Am tournament, salutes to all the Savages, Vibes, NY Jets FL, everybody filing in, salutes. He said at an AT&T Pro-Am, I am not going to San Fran. This was early in the process when everyone was talking about, him possibly being traded and the Packers being ready to move on from him. He sat right there and just ruled out San Francisco off the bat. He's had a long history of not being, very fond of San Francisco since they passed on him in the draft. We know that. He came out, on draft night and talked about how they're going to be sorry that they passed on me, basically, And that clip is out there and everybody can check that out. Now, he put them on notice, okay? Also keep in mind, once the talk about Aaron Rodgers was going on, about the Green Bay Packers moving on from him, possibly early in the talks, there was reports coming out that they had already had internal discussions that they would not trade him to a team within the NFC. There was tons of reports coming out like that they had internal discussions. They didn't want to have anything to do with trading him to a team in the NFC. They wanted to move him to a team in the AFC. That's why the Jets and a host of other teams at that time made more sense, but the Jets made the most sense. So now this rumor completely goes against Aaron Rodgers and where he'd want to go. It also goes against where the Packers had initially said they didn't want to send him, which would be in the NFC. Then when you really start to break things down with the 49ers, you look at their situation. They got Trey Lance, all right, which they traded a 2022, 2023 first-round pick, 2 first-round picks for him, and they also gave up a 2022 third-round pick to move up to draft this kid. He's still on their roster. They're trying to figure out if he's the guy that can lead them going forward. They also got Purdy, a guy that took them to the NFC Championship just this past season. He looked phenomenal, got an elbow injury. He'll be back as well, right, once that elbow heals up, which should be soon. Then they just signed Sam Darnold to a $4.5 million deal. Why would they do that? So why do they have all these guys on the roster if Aaron Rodgers was truly an option? What are they stacking quarterbacks there? None of this makes sense. Then when you look at their situation as well, look at the capital, look at the impact that Rodgers will have on their cap as well. The 49ers don't have a first-round pick. Anybody remember? The Green Bay Packers were going off. Hey, we need the Jets 13. Everybody was talking about 13 for 12. 13 for 12. Make it happen. The Niners don't have a first-round pick. They got a bunch of compensatory picks. Those picks are at the end of the third round, though. Those are basically fourth-round picks. Then they also only have about $3 million on their cap currently. And they still have to pay Bosa. They still got a host of other guys they have to pay as well. How can they truly afford Aaron Rodgers, even if he wanted to go there? How could they afford him? All of these things are not making much sense, and that's why it seems like this has been leaked out by the Green Bay Packers to try to gain try to garner some type of interest, to try to make it seem like they've garnered more interest outside of the New York Jets. The Jets make the most sense, okay? And I also believe that the Green Bay Packers are trying to do this to create a situation within the media to try to get Woody Johnson to panic. We're going to be talking about that tonight as well. We've seen at times, we know that Woody Johnson in the past has made decisions based off panicking and trying to keep his name within the media, trying to keep the New York Jets on that front page. We've seen splash signings in the past that did not make sense, right? We've seen them. When the Jets needed impact positions, we would go after guys that didn't make sense, giving guys money that just didn't make any sense at all and did not help the New York Jets long term. I believe that the Green Bay Packers are trying to pull at those strings to try to make Woody Johnson do something knee-jerk and try to get him to make Joe Douglas give up more compensation than he should within this situation. The Green Bay Packers need to wake up. The New York Jets are no longer a team that runs like that. These are old tactics that were used in the past to try to get the New York Jets to make foolish mistakes. That time is over. Mike McCagnon, no longer here. Todd Bowles, no longer here. Adam Gase, no longer here. That circus environment that used to be here is gone. And people need to wake up and realize that the Jets front office, the Jets coaching staff, the Jets franchise is headed in a new direction. We will be an organization to be reckoned with. Oh, we will. And we have a general manager that understands football on a level that we have not had at that position within our franchise in a long time. And he understands what's going on in the NFL, and he understands what's happening out here. Now, reportedly, the New York Jets have offered the Green Bay Packers a 2023 second-round pick, a 2024 second-round pick that could turn into a first-round pick, depending on the escalators that Aaron Rodgers would need to meet. And what they're asking for back is just compensation in case Aaron Rodgers decides to retire in 2024. If he's just a one and done, give us a little something back. And according to reports, that pick that they would like back would be possibly a third-round pick. That's according to reports. That's fair compensation. The Green Bay Packers need to wake up. You're going forward with Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers has already said himself he wants to be a Jet. It's time for you to do what's right. Allow yourself to move forward. Allow yourself to get this compensation that the Jets are going to give you and continue to build with Jordan Love. Give that kid a chance to go in there and be better. Give that kid a chance to go in there next year with some young guys that you're going to be able to pick in this upcoming draft and do what he needs to do to continue to take a step forward in his career. Because these games right here, I'm telling you, they're not going to end up very well because Joe Douglas is not going to be fleeced. We're going to get to these lines, 515-602-9639. Also, we've signed Tim Boyle, former Packers QB, all right? Also pretty tight with Aaron Rodgers as well. Knows the system. Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator, all right? He was with them 2019 to 2020. It's a very interesting situation here. I like this. I want to know, is this a guy that could be the New York Jets backup quarterback? I'm just saying. We've also signed Quentin Jefferson as well. Quentin Jefferson is in the building. We lost Rankins. We lost Nathan Shepard. We didn't get Calais Campbell, as y'all know. We lost Fletcher Cox as well. He stayed with the Eagles. And we bring in Quentin Jefferson, a really solid pass rushing defensive tackle. We're also going to be discussing Quentin Williams, all right? Listen, April 17th is coming around the corner. All-season program is going to start. We know that Quentin Williams has said from the jump that he does not want to, he's not going to report to anything in the offseason unless that deal and extension is done. So we're going to get to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers, okay? We're going to it all. We're going to be discussing it all tonight. First caller we're going to go to is my guy, Chris. Chris, I'm coming directly to you. Chris, Salutes to you, my friend.
Hey, what's up? Yo,
What's going on? First off, for
what's
those of
going
you
on,
that don't
brother?
know, that boy Chris, he's a savage. Savage. Chris is a savage. All right. Listen, Chris, there's been a lot of things going on, man. And I want to get your thoughts on this situation where Craig Carton comes out and says that the San Francisco 49ers could be in the hunt to grab Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts about this, man?
And there's no way they're gonna be able to do that. They trade him in their own division, and it's just too much. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
He already said he wanted to go to the Jets. I think the deal is done. I think they're just throwing up smoke just to get the Jets to maybe see if they're going to get a first-round pick. The trade's basically already done. I mean, they know they're on the time clock to the draft, so this trade's going to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally
this
believe.
trade's done.
Yeah, I personally believe again that this is a lot of smoke. But what I'm wondering about and what I'm worried about a bit here, Chris, is the situation with Woody Johnson. Are you concerned that all this media attention that we're garnering because of this situation currently and the boogeyman tactics that are being used by the Packers surrounding, this trade could influence Woody Johnson to step in and force Joe Douglas to give up more value than he's comfortable with for Aaron Rodgers?
Well, one of the things that I think that, maybe should be given is it need to be a first-round pick maybe next year. And here's why. The Jets have 4 first-round picks last year, okay? And the cap space is going to be very, very, very limited for the next 2 years. And, if you're trying to maybe see what Zach Wilson's about and maybe give him an extension or maybe even give him a Kai Benson, you're going to need that extra first because first-round picks get an extra, like a lot of money. And having that cap relief, does a lot, especially on these contracts you got coming up, like Quentin Williams, everything. So I think giving up a first-round pick, for Aaron Rodgers won't be the worst thing in the world as far as next year if we're not looking for a quarterback. And I think, and this is what I would say, I think Aaron Rodgers is staying here 2 years because I have a hard time believing a lot of these guys coming here, and he's going to give this 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't happen in 2 years, then I can see him walking away. But I don't think he's going to come in here in one season and just say, okay, I'm out. I think he's going to give this 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to give this 2, possibly 3 years because the guy, wants to be heralded as one of the greatest quarterback of all time. He wants to be up there with Brady. He's a very hard he's one of the fiercest competitors. He's just so arrogant, and that just says complete. I don't see him retiring, Joe. He's just too arrogant to go and win. I just don't see it. That's what I mean. He's going to retire. I'm like, I don't see that guy retiring anytime soon until they cut him off the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see him. I don't see it. So I think it's all game. I think, but if Woody has to give up a first round next year to get the deal done, maybe. But it should be in the 20s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe the deal is done already. So I don't think it's even worth like. I think that's smoke. Yeah, San Francisco clearly wants to go with they got to see what they have in their quarterback. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they got 3 quarterbacks there. They gave up like 4 draft choices for that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to see this through. So there's no way. And they got contracts. They just gave up a big contract to Bosa, and they got some other guys coming up. They're not going to be able to afford Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very interesting situation that you're talking about because you started to kind of discuss the draft just a little bit, even them giving up, the kind of capital that they gave up to get Trey Lance. When you look at this situation, it continues to play out. The draft is coming up pretty soon. Do you think that this deal, do you think this trade will be done before the draft? And if it isn't done before the draft,
absolutely.
Okay, you think it'll be done before the draft. When do you think? Like, are you thinking a week? When do you think it happens?
No, I'll be thinking it'll be done before the day before the draft or during the draft. I think you'll see a conversation because the second round. I mean, everybody's talking about the second round like there's some good players in the second round this year, man. If you do your draft simulations, there's going to be some really good players available, and who knows who falls.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some good players at the second round, and having 2 second-round picks, you can trade up and get an extra first-rounder. And you have Jordan Love. You've got to find out who Jordan Love is. You've got to find out what you have in this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Packers, this is a labor of urgency. They can't get no third-round pick. They need a first or second-round pick, something else. And if they got 2 first-round, second-round picks, they may be able to have enough capital to trade back up into the first round and get some players for Jordan. They got to surround Jordan Love with some players, man.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and you're speaking facts, and that's
So
what
the need is on both. So the need is on both sides. The needs are on both. Let's not get it twisted. The need is on both sides. They got to know what Jordan Love's about, man.
Mm-hmm.
They got to know. So they got to put him around the best type of players he can find. So they're probably going to use those 2 first-round picks to trade up and get another first round. That's my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, and again, the New York Jets, according to reports, are giving him a 2023 second. Another 2023 second that could reach a first, depending on the escalators that Aaron Rodgers would need to meet. I think it's fair compensation. Again, what's holding it up is they just want to pick back in case Aaron Rodgers just ones and dones and retires after a year. But I think it's fair compensation. I think it's good compensation. And all the points that you made, they've got to invest in Love and figure things out, because again, he's also a guy that 5th year option's coming up. They're gonna have to figure out what's happening with him pretty soon, or they're gonna be in a situation like we were with Sam Darnold, which is a nightmare situation for a franchise to be in. Now, when you look at the New York Jets and we talk about this quarterback situation, we know that this Aaron Rodgers thing is going on. But what are your thoughts about the Jets signing Tim Boyle to a 1-year deal? How are you feeling about this, man? This is a guy that has familiarity with Aaron Rodgers, has familiarity with the offense, has familiarity with Nathaniel Hackett, our offensive coordinator. What are your thoughts about that, man?
I mean, it's always good to bring somebody in for camp that already have experience in the system, because you're not putting in a new system. You're putting in a kind of a new system, and we're going to see what happens. There's guys like Zach along, so you don't have to rush them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Zach Wilson is going to be the second guy. I think.
Really? Okay.
I think he's going to have a
talk about it.
I think Zach has a lot to prove. I think, just from a work ethic perspective, everybody craps on Zach Wilson. I mean, if you look at the Zach Wilson story, like how he became the 2nd overall pick, that guy is going to work his butt off, man. Nobody in the room is. I think last year was just too much for him. I think it was just we supposed to go to, he just got caught in the headlights, man. Having Aaron Rodgers there is going to really I still have confidence in him that long term he can be will he be a franchise quarterback? I don't know, but I could see something like the guy in Minnesota, Kirk Cousins type of guy. I could see somebody like that with Zach Wilson.
Okay. Now the Jets also signed Quentin Jefferson as well to a deal. We know we have holes along the defensive line. What are your thoughts on that signing?
I mean, it was a good signing. I mean, but I think that they're also trying, from my understanding, that everybody like, well, we got to get deep up into. Last year, I didn't like the Jets running game. I think the linebackers did a lot of the tackling. I didn't like sometimes Nathan Shepard. I mean, you can look at that Patriots game, and Damian Williams ran all over us, man. And and then when Quentin was out, you see. So they think about. I heard that the Jets are talking about Ashawn Robinson, which I like better, to be honest with me, than Sheldon Rankins. I like Ashawn Robinson because he's going to stop that run.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring him, and then the other guy from Seattle, you should have a great middle defense that could stop the run and actually get Quentin in the backfield. Guys could take up double teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of these guys last year were just missing tackles. And listen, Tanzel Smart, let's not get rid of the Tanzel, man. He showed a lot last year, man. Let's just throw this guy in his throat. He was pretty good. He was pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Tanzel Smart was pretty good last year. So everybody said, we don't have any defensive tackles. Look at the tape of Tanzel Smart last year. He was in the backfield a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wouldn't discount that guy either. I was feeling for him last year to get on the field.
Yeah.
Tanzel Smart's a good player, man.
Yeah. No, listen.
He reminds me of he reminds me of the pass rusher that we have now, where it took him a couple of years to develop. But I think Tanzel Smart's going to have a bigger role in this team than everybody expects. Because you keep a guy on the practice squad, you develop their talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he's going to be a good player next year.
Yeah.
Let's don't look at the draft choice position because he's developed.
No, listen, you're talking facts. And again, 515-602-9639 is number. Everybody call in. We'll get to everybody in a second. Hold on. Ted, other callers will come to you in a second. Listen, before I let you go, you're talking about this defensive line quickly. Give me your thoughts on this Quinnen Williams contract situation. Do you think we'll be able to get him extended before April 17th?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, he's
Yeah.
not going to show up to anything voluntary. He's already said that.
Yeah.
And the price is going up. Jeff Simmons just agreed. That's the Titans defensive lineman, He just agreed to terms on a big deal, 4-year, $94 million extension. That's 23.5 per. I mean, what are your thoughts about the situation with Quinnen Williams, and what is the most you'd be willing to give him to keep him a Jet? Final question. Go ahead.
Well, honestly, if you look over the Jets, the players that we have, who are we playing? So, I mean, who are we paying right now? We're going to pay Aaron Rodgers and a couple of other guys that we had. So you can actually spread that contract over 4 or 5 years. But they could have Quinn should be around here for a while. So you could spread some of that money. You can give him $100 million. I mean, because the cap keeps going up. And if you give him annually at 25, 24 million, and then some dead cap money years, you can give maybe 100, 110, 120 million dollars, over a 5-6 year contract, and you can spread the cap out. I mean, I think they got this thing worked out with Quentin because I think that he's one of the most important players on the team. He understands, and his agent does, because as much as he wants to win, and they know they're bringing Aaron Rodgers in the building, so everybody's kind of looking at seeing what happens here. So I think Quentin is ready to go, man. I think he's excited. I think they put some guys on the defense. I think he's going to be ready to go. They're going to pay him. This is all worked out, I think.
Yeah. I hope it does. I mean, we'll see. If you're the Jets general manager, I'm thinking 25 mil per is probably what you're going to have to give him. But listen, Chris, I got to slide off. We got other callers. I want to thank you for calling in tonight.
Yep.
Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
All right, Big Joe. Take it easy, man.
Have a good one. Listen, we're to keep getting to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Oh, we just lost Bill. Bill, call back in. We'll get right to you. Other callers, please hold on. We're getting to everybody. Salutes to the Savages in the chat. GVH in the chat says, need the Rodgers domino to fall soon. With Simmons getting paid along with Commanders defensive tackle Payne. Yep, he got paid as well. And Hargrove out in San Francisco. Q will be getting Aaron Donald payment soon. We still need a space-eating defensive tackle. You're talking facts, man. Listen, Simmons got money today. 23.5, is the number. That is the number right now. Outside of Aaron Donald, I think he's the next highest guy getting money. And as GVH talked about as well, that those are guys getting paid too. All right. Deron Payne, 22.5. Hargrove, 21 million. Leonard Williams, 21 million. This number keeps going up and up and up. And I'm telling you, I think at this point, 20, 24, 25, possibly 26 million per year is what you're going to be looking at for Quinnen Williams. And I mean, he's a guy that's balled out. He's balled out. You can't deny it. Pro Bowl, all pro. It is what it is. We're getting back to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Salutes to the Savages. We'll come to you guys as well. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Share the stream as well with your friends and your family across your social media and all of your platforms. All right. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Next, we're getting back to these lines again. 515-602-9639. We're going to my guy, Ted. We're coming to Ted. Ted, I know, has quite a bit to say. 347, hold on. We'll come to you in a second. Salutes, Ted. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know this man, Ted, he is a savage. Savage. Ted, salutes to you, man. We're sitting here talking about Quinnen Williams, dude. And there's a lot of things going on. We just saw Simmons get paid a boatload of money, $23.5 million per year. What are your thoughts about the situation with Quinnen Williams, and do you think this will get done before the off-season program starts April 17th?
Good evening, Joe.
Salutes.
Happy holidays. You too, Joe. It has to get done, Joe. He's proven everything he has to prove. He played through injury in his rookie year. He had an injury. He works hard. He keeps his nose clean. other than the gut incident, which was ridiculous
Yeah.
at the airport.
Yeah.
But that was kind of immaturity.
Yeah.
But the guy's a beast, and he deserves it, Joe.
Yeah.
And you got to reward your best players.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I mean you're talking facts there. You look at the situation again; the numbers keep going up and up and up. But when you have a guy that's been able to do what he's done here, right, and through thick and through thin, he was here during the gay era and all the bad football. He was here when guys were losing. He was here when Jamal Adams was going off and losing his mind, and he was a guy that just kept his head down and kept chugging along, just kept moving along, didn't rock the boat, didn't do anything. And look at where he's at now, coming off one of his most dominant seasons, 12 sacks. He led the New York Jets in sacks this season. And you could see that when he was not on the field, there was a difference, right? We saw that against the Lions. When he wasn't out there against the Lions, the defensive line just looked different. You know, there wasn't the disruption, the havoc up front. It wasn't there. You know, it wasn't there. And the Lions, that quarterback had a lot of time to sit back there and throw the football. But I'm hoping it gets done. What do you think? How much do you think it's going to take? You know, if you were the Jets general manager, would you be willing to give him $25 million per?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And I think he came in as a very young rookie. I think he was only 21.
Yeah.
I don't know what his age is.
He was a
now.
baby. He was a straight baby.
Yeah. He yep. So 25 for him. I don't think that's much of an issue, Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, he deserves it, like I said. And funny you brought up Jamal Adams. I was thinking about what you said about the trade for Rodgers. I don't think Joe Douglas is giving anything up in first-round pick. I don't care what year it is.
Wow. Okay.
You know, it could be 20, 30. He's not giving up a first-round pick. I still think I don't think that's all true. I mean, at first, I apologize for saying we're never going to get Rodgers. I didn't believe it. I was wrong about that one. But it's not official yet. Not official yet.
Okay.
But the Jamal Adams thing proved that Douglas is an ultimate negotiator. I don't think we're going to give much away for Rodgers, especially because of his personality and age. He may only be 1 or 2 year player. We're not going to give a first rounder. There's no way, and they're dumping salary.
Yeah,
Packers are dumping salary.
But here's the deal, right? And I hear you saying we're not going to give up a first, but according to reports, again, the 2024 second rounder could turn into a first depending on escalators. I necessarily wouldn't have a problem with that, right? A second round pick, another second round, possibly a first. I have no issues. But I do like that, again, according to reports, Joe Douglas is saying, hey, if he retires after a year, I would like some compensation back. And a lot of people are saying that could either be a third round pick or a fourth round pick. More people are saying a third round pick, though. But I'm looking at it like this, man. You got Craig Carton coming out saying that the Niners could be in the push for him as well. Do you believe this rumor from Craig Carton? Do you think that the Niners could be a team that is hiding in the bushes, waiting for this to kind of play out to swoop in and grab Aaron Rodgers?
Could be. Could be, perhaps. I mean, they're making the ultimate run. That would probably put them over the top, you know, to make it probably win the Super Bowl, quite honestly. They could make the move. We have to be ready for Plan B. I don't care if Rodgers is working out with, you know, whoever he's working out with.
Alan Lazard.
We have to have a Plan B just in case. Yeah, we have to have a Plan B just in case.
No.
But Joe, I think when push comes to shove on draft night, like I said on the previous call, I think a second and a fourth are going to do it. They can't. Okay, so if you're the Packers and you have these picks coming back in future years with escalators, can you imagine if he goes to the Super Bowl? How I won't say the Packers would look dumb because they're ready to move on, but it's going to look so bad on them if they don't have. They need a clean divorce from Rodgers. They need to cut ties like hard and say, okay, enough. This, you know, it's Jordan Love's team or whoever's going to be there. None of this give back later. It's only going to bring back memories. You know what I mean? They need to cut ties, a second and a fourth, a second and a third, whatever you want to do. Joe, one more thing real quick.
Go ahead.
There's a guy, there's a linebacker in Arkansas I love. Sanders is his last name. He played at Alabama. He transferred. He's like a T.J. Watt type. He's probably a late first rounder. That's the kind of guy we need. He's 230 pounds. He can rush the passer, and he's a tackling machine. I mean, he's like a TJ. I won't say he's a TJ Watt because that guy's special, but he's the kind of guy that I would be willing to maybe take a second and a couple picks to move up in the late in the first round and get a linebacker that can really cover like a Van Der Esch. Like he's the kind of guy that can move sideline to sideline and rush the passer.
No, listen. I think that's something that the New York Jets are absolutely going to be looking to address in the draft. I don't know exactly where we'll take a linebacker again. We'll be continue to discuss that. The draft is coming up. We're really going to hit that hard as well. Got a couple of draft guys coming on. Got some draft guys coming on. We'll be talking to them too. All right, just put that out there. But yeah, the Jets are definitely going to look at linebacker. I believe safety is going to be, defensive tackle possibly as well. Of course, offensive line is going to be looked at. Yeah. But going back to the situation with Aaron Rodgers in this trade, you talked a little bit about it. You discussed that second and fourth and getting that clean divorce. I think that the Packers, it is a clean divorce, right? You took Jordan Love before you took a wide receiver, in the first to help Aaron Rodgers. That's what you did. Like this divorce has been a long time coming. Okay, you've done all these things. You set this in motion, right? Where it's like, okay, he's out the door. Aaron Rodgers wanted transparency. He came out himself and talked about it, and the Packers weren't as transparent as they should have been within the situation. They're trying to hold. At first, they were trying to hold on for a first. They realize they're not going to get this. Now they don't want the compensation now that the Jets are giving them, which is more than fair. To me, in my opinion, if they could get more from any other team outside of the New York Jets, I believe they would have already made the trade already, right? They would have already done that. That's why I'm not worried about this rumor at all. Because if you want to do it, then get it done. Everybody else, from everything that we hear, everybody else is out on this. They're out. We're the only ones knocking on the door saying, hey, we want Aaron Rodgers. Because if you could get anyone else to give you whatever it is that you want, you would have already done it. And I just don't think that there's that many suitors. And again,
I agree.
With Aaron Rodgers coming out publicly saying, I want to be a Jet, I don't believe that the Packers have any leverage because we also know that Aaron Rodgers ain't going to go anywhere he don't want to go. And that's including back to the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. So that's why I am not panicking is because, okay, if you want to play these games, what could end up actually happening is Aaron Rodgers could actually, if you don't give him to the Jets, you don't give him what he wants, you keep playing all these weird games, he'll just retire on you if he comes back. If you try to send him some other team he don't want to go to, he won't go there. You try to keep him, he'll just walk and retire on you. Then you get nothing. Now you're going into the mist with Love, and you're not helping this kid out at all get better, which is going to be on the general manager again because that was his pick. It's like, what, they're playing a lot of these games, and now I think that this whole thing within the media is being utilized to really try to get Woody Johnson to panic and make a knee-jerk move. That's what I think all of this is being leaked out for, is to pull at Woody Johnson. It's to try to get him to step in and have Joe Douglas give up something he doesn't need to. What are your thoughts on that that perspective, man? Because that's what I think is happening here.
Yeah, I could see that, Joe. I could see that. The Craig Carton thing, these guys are always constantly trying to break stories or come up with takes. The Rodgers thing is burned out. There's nothing new. Yeah. Like every day, you could say something else. Oh, Rodgers was at a stone. He was looking at crystals at a stone shop I saw in California. So what? Who cares? Like this is the news of Rodgers. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, Joe, draft night, it'll happen.
Okay.
And the Craig Carton, let me say this about Craig Carton. He's up for FS1 big, like a kind of a TV job. Mm-hmm. He just probably saying stuff to maybe get his contract bigger. Yeah. I don't know. No, there's always motives for different people to say stuff.
No. Yeah, he could.
It's just, enough is enough. I'm at the Rodgers saturation level of like 9.9 out of 10. Let's go get the draft night. Yeah. Joe, let's get to draft night already. Let's look at some prospects and see what we can add, and let's let the Packers, the temperature will start rising on them, and then they can, we'll see who buckles first. Joe Douglas has proven. Look at the Jamal Adams trade, Joe.
Yep.
I mean, we'll see who's really going to come out on this deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it'll be us.
What are your thoughts about the Jets bringing in Tim Boyle, man? How are you feeling about it? Tim Boyle, Quentin Jefferson, how do you feel about those signings?
The Boyle's the quarterback?
Yeah, Boyle, the
Right.
quarterback, and
From the
Quentin
Packers?
Jefferson, the
Got
Quentin
it.
Jefferson, the tackle.
Yeah. I like the tackle. I watched film, and he had 5.5 sacks last year. I think anything is like a Sheldon Richardson. Rankins,
Sheldon Rankins.
you know, yeah, Sheldon Rankins replacement. I think he's going to be a decent, solid rotational player.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback thing is interesting. I mean, sounds to me Zach Wilson is going to be, throwing balls to the third stringers. I don't know.
Talk about it.
I don't know what we're going to do with this guy. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to trade him draft night.
I'm telling
we
you.
may unload him draft night. Who the heck knows?
Ted,
yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
But let me say this, Joe.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Listen, real
I was
quickly.
going to say.
Go ahead.
But yeah, real quick. Look at what Bill Belichick is doing with Mac Jones, trying to eject him.
Yeah.
It's like it's insanity. Go ahead, Joe, about Zach
listen,
Wilson.
and I've talked about this, and this is going to be my final question for you. I've talked about this. Look, I know that Sulla said that Zach Wilson would be the number 2 guy, but bringing in Boyle, a guy that has experience within the system, he understands Aaron Rodgers and what he wants to do. He understands Nathaniel Hackett and what he wants to do. This guy could come in, and this I think was a masterful move because it sets up a situation that if this deal isn't done before the draft, or maybe it takes a while after the draft, right? You have a guy in the building from the quarterback position that can get everybody in line for what Aaron Rodgers wants. Everybody. He can tell the wide receivers what they need to do. He could tell the offensive line what they need to do. He can get everybody in place, and he can tell them, this is how Aaron Rodgers ticks. This is what the offense is about. I know it from top to bottom, right? So that, to me, sets up a situation where he could be the number 2 guy. And I think, okay, and we'll get to everybody in a second. Callers, hold on. I think that this sets up a solid situation for Zach Wilson as well, because the reset with the quote fingers that he needs, the reset with the quote finger that he needed last season, was not going to happen in a week. There's a lot of things he's got to fix mechanically, everything else. His confidence is shot. You can see it. He's coming into an offense, a new offense. We're still running the same scheme, but we got a new offensive coordinator, a lot of different verbiage and things he's got to learn. I think sitting him in bubble wrap for a year, truly, sitting him in bubble wrap for a year and allowing him to learn under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers and Boyle, a guy that is going to be more than willing, from everything we heard, to help him, would do him a world of good. And that's something that Mike LaFleur talked about before they got him out of here as well, that it would have benefited him to sit behind a veteran and learn the game before putting him out there, and that might have been one of the mistakes they made. Go ahead and finish off, Ted. Give me your thoughts on that. We're going to get to the lines in a second. 386 will be coming to you. Go ahead.
Joe. 100% agree, Joe. Yep, 100% agree with that take, Joe. Bubble wrap, I agree. I was thinking cryogenics. You packing an ice for a year and frozen, and just, melting down next summer in 2024. It's when it's hot. De-thaw him, unthaw him, whatever it's called, and just. But I agree, Joe. He has to sit, and we'll see if we have anything. But the first caller did say, real quick, first caller did say he could see Zach being Kirk Cousins. Who knows? You never know. You never know with the right, maybe he's got to mature. Maybe he's got to, he's got to learn how to throw again. I don't know I don't know about that one. But anyway, Joe, I know you got to go. But
I got to slide off.
I appreciate the talk.
Listen, Ted, I want to thank you for calling. You have a good one. Listen, Ted calling in with some fire. We're going to get back to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. I'm one man. We'll get to everybody, okay? Salutes to all the savages in the chat. I'm telling you, Zach Wilson and Bubble Wrap would do a big I think it would help him a lot, okay? We're getting back to these lines again. 515-602-9639. Subscribe. Thumbs up to the show if you haven't already. All right, and get in touch with your boy across my social media platforms, all that. Next, we are going to 386. 386, we're coming directly to you. Dwayne, other callers as well. Hold on, we'll get to you guys in a second. 386, you're looking like a new caller. Give me your name, where you're from, and what are your thoughts on this talks about the 49ers trying to make a move for Aaron Rodgers? Do you believe this rumor that's being floated out there by Craig Carton?
Hey, this is Ryan King. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's going on, Ryan? How's everything going with you?
Yeah, same stuff, different day. I think it's all a bunch of BS because listen, you got a first-round talent in who is it, Trey Lance?
Trey Lance, yes,
that
sir.
they got over there.
Yep.
And then they went in, they ran it, into the playoffs with
Purdy.
Who's that young kid? Brock
Purdy. Yep.
Purdy.
Yep.
Okay, so you technically have a QB competition, and I know that San Francisco is saying, oh well, if the season started today, it would be Brock Purdy. But you know what? He could be the next Tom Brady, or he could be someone can figure him out, or defenses can figure him out, and he could be nothing. You just don't. And I just think that it's BS. I don't think that he would go to another NFC team, number one. Number two, the big issue is he can, if he gets traded anywhere else that he doesn't want to go, he can just retire. No one is going to sit there and eat that cap space and take on that liability, okay? It's almost like, if you had a house with a pool and you renting out your pool for a pool party for $100 and you have 40 kids at your house. Well, if one of them get hurt, you're liable. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that team is going to be liable for his entire contract. That's number one. Number two, I think our offensive line is better than what people are giving it. I think that it has stepped up tremendously, and I think that we're going to be okay drafting just a couple, maybe one or two in this upcoming NFL draft. I do think that the defense takes a step back.
Why?
I don't think that we're going to be, top five.
Why?
Because if you look at the defensive line, we lost Sheldon Rankins, and then we lost, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Nathan Shepard, we lost him as well. We lost Nathan Shepard. We lost Sheldon Rankins.
So we lost two defensive linemen, and I think that Sheldon Rankins was a great compliment to Quinnen Williams. I think that they did great things and they complemented each other. And I don't know why the Jets are so hesitant on moving JFM inside.
Okay. Well, let me say this.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, and let me say this, Ryan. You brought some good perspective. I'm really enjoying your takes and your call that you're bringing. I don't necessarily think the New York Jets defense will take a step back, and here's why. You're looking at the emergence of Jermaine Johnson as well, right? He did some great things last season, but I think he'll have a way bigger impact this upcoming season. He also dealt with some injuries as well last season that hampered him. He missed some games last season too. I think him stepping into the forefront is going to be better. Again, we'll get another helping of Bryce Huff, who has yet another year within the scheme. The situation will get sorted out in Quinnen Williams, and we'll speak about that in a second. He's kind of come back. He's going to be phenomenal. Then you add a guy like Quentin Jefferson, who's a great pass rushing D tackle as well, who's going to continue to bring the push and bring the front. A.I. Woods is supposed to come in. I think the Jets will also address the defensive line within the draft too. I think that's going to help us as well. We got Solomon Thomas. I think our front is going to be solid. I think we'll be fine defensively. I think there's more questions on offense. I mean, of course, we're getting Aaron Rodgers and that all be, shake out. But I think you'd have to see if it's more I think the more questions we have would be on offense for me, though, because, again, we got a new offensive coordinator in the building. We got to see how he's going to utilize guys. Garrett Wilson. Can Garrett Wilson be just as effective last year as he is, this year within this new scheme? Alan Lazard as well being added. What's going on here? We got to figure out what's happening with Corey Davis. Can, our new offensive coordinator get our tight ends in situation and position as well? In this offensive line, there's a lot of questions. I know you said you're not necessarily worried about it, but look, I love Mekhi Becton, right? I love him. Ain't been healthy in 2 years. Do we have a tackle? Do we have a left tackle? Do we have those things? So there's a lot of questions there. I'll give you the final word on that. Give me your thoughts on everything.
If you don't mind, man, I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt. I've listened to you before. Yeah. I listen to all the different Jet, creators and whatnot. But if you can give me like another minute, I'd appreciate it. Because
go ahead.
I mean, I've been working for the past 2 weeks and I haven't been able to even get a word out to anybody.
Go ahead.
So I'm kind of anxious.
Go ahead. This is all about conversation. Go ahead. I'll give you the final word. Go ahead.
I appreciate it. So here's my thing. I gotta say, I've always been the optimistic Jet fan.
Mhm.
Okay, I think a lot of us are. I don't think everyone is, but I think a lot of us are.
Mhm.
You know, we kind of sit here and go, "Yep, seen this story before, heard this story, know the ending," and then all of a sudden, one Jets drive kicks off, and you know the signings come, and then you hear from EA, and you know you hear all these different reports coming out, and you're like, "Oh my God, like this is the year." You get hyped up, and it's funny. You know, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and the one thing that my mom said, they were married 42 years, she goes, I could always tell what time of year it was
Mhm.
by the way your father acted.
Mm.
And it was like, the optimistic Jet fan, okay, this is, training camp.
Mhm.
Hey, we're going to win a Super Bowl. Look at us. This is preseason. Hey, if this team wins and this team loses, we have a chance to make the playoffs. Okay, it's around Thanksgiving. Oh, man, the Jets suck and they're horrible. Well, now it's December. It's just
Mhm.
it's funny. But make the long story short, I am so excited for our GM, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing people say that if Zach Wilson is a bust, get rid of Joe Douglas. Let me tell you, Joe Douglas has fleeced so many teams on so many trades.
Yep.
He has been excellent in the draft. I think Mekhi Becton, I think he's going to be excellent this year. I think he's going to be a stud.
Mhm.
The thing that scares me with the Jets on offense, okay, you don't know what Brees Hall is going to bring. You don't know if he's going to be 100% or he's going to be like a Saquon Barkley where he's just not going to be the same, okay? You got Alan Lazard. He's a vertical deep threat. He's a tall receiver. That's what we need.
Mhm.
Is Corey Davis going to still be on the team?
Yeah.
He's very injury prone. You got McComb.
Mecole Hardman.
Or what's his name?
Mecole Hardman.
Mecole Hardman.
Yep. Go ahead.
He's injury prone. He's got the speed.
Mhm.
He's a burner.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but can he stay healthy and can he stay on the field?
Mhm.
So you have all these question marks again. New offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
There's just so much there that you just don't know.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this Aaron Rodgers thing come out.
Yeah.
You don't
And
know.
keep in mind, Ryan, again, our offensive line. No, you're bringing some heat. Our offensive line, we're still trying to figure it out. We don't have a center. Connor McGovern's gone. Who knows what's going to happen with Ben Jones? Hopefully we will be able to grab him. Otherwise, we'll be drafting a guy. And then again, you got to worry about that tackle position. What's happening going forward with Dwayne Brown? Again, is Dwayne Brown going to be the guy that's going to be our starting left tackle? Are we keeping Mekhi Becton? Are we keeping him at right tackle? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. But, Ryan, I got to slide off. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in. You brought some heat tonight. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right, my friend?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You have a good one. Listen, Ryan bringing us some heat. We're going to keep getting to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Salutes to all of the savages in the chat. Sean Bennett in the chat going off. He says Sheldon Rankins had one decent year. They both could easily be replaced. He's talking about Sheldon Rankins and Nathan Shepard. Whoa. I like Quentin Jefferson. I do. I like that move. And A.I. Woods is coming in. There's also some guys as well. There's a guy that could slide in this upcoming draft, okay? We'll be talking about that as well. That could have an impact too. Maybe he's a guy that ends up on the Jets. Who knows, right? 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell as well. Give the stream a thumbs up. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Next, we're going to go to my guy, Dwayne. Bill, other callers will come to you next. Bill, we definitely need to talk to you, all right? But salutes. Dwayne is in the building. Dwayne, for those of you that don't know, that boy Dwayne's a savage. Savage. Damn, Dwayne. You be trying to creep in, bruh. Just know I peep you every time. Don't try to creep in. I see you, all right? Listen, Dwayne, we are talking Jets tonight. We're talking Carton, saying that the 49ers are going to swoop in and steal Aaron Rodgers from the Jets if we don't figure out a way to get this deal done. Do you believe this rumor that's being floated out there? Or are you like me? Are you a guy that looks at it and think that this is a bunch of shenanigans that have been put out that are being leaked by the Green Bay Packers? What say you?
What's up, Joe? You can hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can. You sound a little
Can you hear
far,
me
a little
clearly,
far away. Come a little bit closer to your phone if you
All
could.
right, so let me
Okay.
fix it.
Yeah, go ahead and get your
Okay.
get your headset,
This
get
one
your
is a little bit better
situation
right here.
set up. Dwayne calling in, off that
Yeah.
old Home Depot headset. Oh goodness. Dwayne said,
Hey,
"Listen,
listen, I got a Jamaican phone service. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's called T-Mobile. You know what I'm saying? T-Mobile. You know what I'm saying?
he
So
said he
excuse me for
calling
that.
in off that." So,
It's a
Dwayne,
little cheaper for the Jamaican, man. You know what I'm saying?
give me your thoughts, man.
Gotta save money.
Give me your thoughts, man.
Gotta save a little money, man.
Hey, you trying to save everywhere you can. What are your thoughts about the situation? Do you believe this rumor?
Listen, I'm not. Part of me for being defamatory a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rich Samini beat his dog when he heard what Chris Canty.
Oh my goodness.
I think he wanted to. I think he wanted to be the one to come up with that BS story first, and he saw the tweet. He said, "Hell, how did he get to this?" First? I think a bunch of these guys were waiting with some team on tap to put out there that is a part of the trade rumors. The longer this thing went,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing believable about it, I'm not saying it's 100% untrue. The only thing believable about it is how unbelievable it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the team Aaron Rodgers said he would never play for, right? The team that passed him in the draft, right? Should have drafted him instead of Alex Smith. He said, I will not play for him.
Yeah.
The team with 17 starting quarterbacks right now, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, right?
That's a fact.
They traded a bunch of picks for the other guy. I forget his name now.
Trey Lance.
But they traded a bunch of picks for him. Now they want to bring. Now they don't got the greatest cap situation.
Mm-hmm.
They don't got a first round pick. The only thing believable about it is if you were going to make up a team to actually come in and be the rumor to try to spark some kind of controversy, that would be the last team you would think of.
Yeah.
Except for maybe, a team that already has a great quarterback, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that makes no sense. I think Aaron Rodgers said recently that he wouldn't play for the 49ers.
Yeah, he said it
And
at a
they
pro-am
still put out
tournament.
the 49ers.
Yeah, he said it at a pro-am tournament. Literally, the quote is, I am not going to San Fran. That's like the only. They were the first team that he shot down. Like literally, he said it they asked him. A guy asked him at the pro-am tournament, "Hey, what are your thoughts about the teams?" He looked that man straight in the face and said, "I am not going to San Fran." He said it right there. It's a quote. It's a direct quote.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, come on. So that's why I think.
That's what I keep saying.
Yeah, I think it's a bit ridiculous myself as well. And here's why, Dwayne, I think it's ridiculous. I feel like this is an old tactic that has been utilized before. We've seen it, right? In the past. We're all Jets fans. We love this team. We've been here for a long time. And we've seen the media leak out, stories about guys that, hey, this guy wants to be a Jet. That guy wants to be a Jet. The Jets need to make sure they sign. We've even seen guys utilize the Jets to try to drum up interest from other teams to sign elsewhere, to get more money put into their pockets. We've seen us be used in the past. Yep. And I think one of the big things, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is I feel like this is being leaked out by the Packers to try to utilize that old tactic to pull at the heartstrings of Woody Johnson, to get him to make some crazy knee-jerk decision, to try to put us in a situation where Woody will run to the front office and go, whoa, hey, I just heard that the Niners are trying to get Aaron Rodgers. Hey, give him 3 first-rounders. We don't care. Do you think that that's why this is being done? Because that's why I feel like it's being done. What are your thoughts?
If it's the Packers, their GM, I'm not saying he needs to be fired, but he needs to lose a bunch of credibility. I expect this kind of stupidity from the New York Jets beat. Yes, they absolutely have no clue that Aaron Rodgers said, I would not play for the 49ers of all teams. They would completely skip past that or overlook that. But if the Packers GM did this, bro, I would question his intelligence. Like, that is not, you know what I mean? That's like, you know, the Yankees GM, you know, you better re-sign Derek Jeter, man. He's about to go play for he's going to play for Boston. He's going to play for Boston. Like, you know he hates Boston.
Yeah.
You know? This is that kind of level, you know, and realistically, some of the people that hate teams, I think, would play for a rival team faster than Aaron would play for the 49ers, because it's not about rivalry. It's about what you did to me in the draft.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if it's the Packers GM, ooh, man, I don't know. That don't look too smart on his part.
It don't.
It suggests the playbook.
Now, when you look at the situation, right, and the trade continues to play out, we're trying to figure out what's going on. As it continues to drag on, who do you think loses leverage, and who do you think gains leverage in the situation? Let's say this trade plays out. Again, the trade's coming up, or the draft is coming up. As the draft's coming up, who do you think loses or gains leverage here?
It ends up evening itself out. I'm pretty sure. This is why. I know that sounds very PC.
Go ahead.
The reason I think it ends up evening itself out is because I think Joe Douglas is it's basically waiting for this draft to pass. He wants this draft to pass and trade nothing from this draft, and then his pocketbook, I think his pocketbook is going to be open a little bit more after the draft, because he wants to push everything into Aaron Rodgers, all the picks that he can get for this draft, just in case it's 1 year, right? Then next year, not saying, oh, we just going to throw away next year or whatever, but I think next year it's more like, if Aaron doesn't come back, hopefully, you know, Zach has learned and he's developed, and what's our new coordinator's name again?
Nathaniel
Hopefully
Hackett.
his system is more suitable. Hackett. See, I've been following the Jets too long. I was about to say Hackenberg. Nathaniel Hackett, right? Thank God it's not Hackenberg. But I think he wants to push it till after the draft, and the Packers GM wants to push it before the draft, and maybe he'll push and say, okay, I'll take the second before the draft. But I think Joe, I'm not saying this particularly. I think Joe is more, his pocketbook opens a little bit more after the draft to even consider a first rounder.
Well, here's the thing, and that's an interesting take. That's an interesting take. But here's my thing, is that when you look at this situation, and again, Bill, other callers will get to you in just a second. When you look at the situation, as long as it continues to play out, especially if it plays out to after the draft, that works in the Jets' favor. Because what that does is it allows Joe Douglas. That's where I really think that we already have the leverage, but we really have an unbelievable amount of leverage if this plays out after the draft. Because as Joe Douglas is sitting there, right, in the command center, and he knows, okay, the Green Bay Packers for sure are not ready to give us anything, he could just start trading down. We can trade down from 13 and gain so much more capital and be so much more in a better set of situation, right? Because there's so many guys that defensive tackle, I just forgot his name. They're talking about him sliding down the board. There's a chance that a team might be willing to move up. Yeah, there's a chance that a team might be willing to move up if he's there at 13. There's a chance a team might be willing to move up to take this kid because he's sliding down the board. There's other players as well that could be moving down the board as well. So when you look at this situation, the position that the Jets are in, we have a chance to gain capital, also continue to address positions of need with great players that could be there. Again, offensive linemen that we're talking about, Paris Johnson, other guys that could be around where we would be drafting. And we still be set up in a situation to be able to keep our eyes on the Aaron Rodgers situation. The reason why it doesn't benefit the Green Bay Packers is because if they wait until after the draft, you're setting Love up to fail. You're setting him up. And here's why. Look at our most recent draft, the impact that it had on our football team. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, right? Brees Hall, phenomenal running back. We'll get him back. Max Mitchell, a guy that showed us that he could play right tackle. Clemens, right? He's going out there. He's doing his thing. You know, we got these guys. All these guys, and even Jermaine Johnson, the guy we're excited about, he's going to rush the passer this upcoming season. All of that, right? Look at the impact that it had. But the greatest impact that a lot of this stuff had from this recent draft, even our free agency had, is it allowed us to properly evaluate Zach Wilson. You suck. We know that. Because everything that's been around, you got the offensive rookie of the year on your team, and you still can't get it done at quarterback. You suck. We're not in the situation that we were with Sam Darnold, where there was big questions about who he was, and, well, he never had weapons. He never had – no, dog. You suck. We properly evaluated you. So we know maybe you're better. You can be better down the road with the right, coaching and quarterback and all that. Maybe we can turn you around. But we know for a fact it is your skill set right now. It is your skill level that is holding this football team back. Well, if the Packers don't help Jordan Love and they don't get him the weapons that he needs, we just got Allen Lazard. That was one of their better wide receivers last year. They have big holes along their football team. There's stuff that they could patch up along that line. That defense needs some help. He needs other targets as well, other weapons of wideout. If you do not get him, those guys, to help him going forward, you got to sign this guy to a fifth-year option. You drafted him in the first round. You're doing him a major disservice. You are setting him up to regress. That would hurt the Packers a whole hell of a lot more than it would hurt the New York Jets. Give me your thoughts on that. I'll give you the final word, Dwayne.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your Jamaican headset is tripping. Your headset's tripping. You got to fix it. I don't know what's going on. You sound muffled. Okay, go ahead.
Let me switch it to Kingston. Boom. Okay. So, so his stalling, to me, right? Looking at it from his perspective, his stalling of the draft, I believe, is he wants some kind of pressure to build up on Joe Douglas, so he can actually get what he's ultimately seeking for, I guess, is a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
But as the GM, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to miss out on what he can get this draft. The reason I said it might even itself out, because if he's that stubborn to let this draft go by without getting extra compensation for Aaron Rodgers, then he might get better compensation after the draft, if the compensation is more important to him than Jordan Love, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, he if any more GM would know, let me get what I can get. Look at the team I'm trading with. Look what they did with all those assets, and then the future assets we're talking about too. We're talking about all types of stuff. It's not just this year, you know. So yeah, it would be foolish, but I heard they have a whole hokey system over there in Green Bay where it's like a panel of township members that make decisions. I forgot who else.
The city owns the team.
Not straight up PM like every other. Yeah. So if I'm a little scared of that little hokey town, a small town, not on my lawn type of system.
Listen, I hear you, Dwayne. I look at the situation, man, it is strange. But before I let you go quickly, right? Quinnen Williams, April 17th is around the corner. If he asks for $25 million per 4-year contract, $25 million per, are you doing it? Yes or no?
Absolutely, yes.
All right.
Absolutely. I mean, the highest paid defender is what?
It's Aaron Donald, but that's Aaron Donald though. That's
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, that's an anomaly of a contract. But I think right now is Jeff Simmons right now, 23.5. But yeah, $25 million is what I think it'll take, man. Salutes, yeah. Listen, Dwayne, I got to slide off, man. I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, all right?
All right, take care, Joe.
All right. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. They are hot. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Bill, we're going to come to you next. My guy Kenton in the chat is going off. Salutes. He's a Packers fan. He says, as a Packers fan, it definitely didn't come from us. We wouldn't even think about trading him to a team in the NFC. I'm telling you. Salutes, Kenton. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, they've already come out and said there's internal discussions already. All right. I don't think that's going to happen. All right. He also says, as a Packers fan, he isn't going to the Niners. It's all noise. Yeah, we don't believe it. Okay, we don't believe you. You need more people. All right. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, I'm going to Bill. I'm coming directly to Bill, man. Bill, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know, Bill, he's a savage. Savage. Bill's a savage. Bill, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in, man. I really want to hear from you. We're talking Jets. We're talking about it all. All right. A lot of things, a lot of smoke and mirrors being played right now. Rumors swirling about the Niners trying to chase Aaron Rodgers. That's been floated out by Craig Carton. What are your thoughts about that, man?
Joe, you're the original savage. Let's just put that out there right off the bat. The original savage. Big Joe.
Salutes, man.
You did all the research in the intro, man. You did all the research. It's ridiculous, this whole 49ers thing. I don't know who's trying to make a career out of this, just keeping these rumors flowing. I know it's been a lot of days where nothing's happened, but the media is keeping it interesting with something new every day. It doesn't make any sense for all the reasons that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he already said, I'm not going to the 49ers in public, so I don't know how someone can run with that. The fact they have no cap space. They have like three of the last 4 picks of the third round.
Yep.
So I know that's enticing to have 3 picks at like a 99, 100, 101. I know that's really exciting to think about for draft capital, but that's obviously not going to get it done. And it is within the NFC, so it's just doesn't make any sense at all. So I dismiss it. I know the fans are getting all hot and crazy on it. Twitter's hilarious with the Jets versus the Packers going at each other's throats. But, at the end of the day, the thing is going to get done. Every party involved is benefiting from the trade happening, and there's just some trigger in the future that is out there. When he was on McAfee, he said it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. It's going to take a while. He told everyone then, and people didn't believe him. But it's going to be some mechanism that happens. If it's the draft is the mechanism, if it's the June 1st deadline for trades, because what happens June 1st. They trade him after that point, then they get to spread the cap hit over 2 years. So for me, it's a question of, do they want that Green Bay side? Do they want to have a clean sheet next year? Or do they want to spread it around? So that's something I haven't seen anyone comment on. And it seems like it's either the thing holding them up is either the draft or Green Bay making that decision. But everything else is just hearsay. We know Joe's crew is tight. Nobody's leaking. There's no leaks on that. And the Green Bay side, it could be the Titanic with all those leaks. I don't know, but they're just putting information out there, just trying to keep the media at bay, keep them baited, keep the story interesting. But I'm not worried. Most fans, I know, aren't worried. We're just waiting for it to happen. Joe wants it to happen. Aaron wants it to happen, and Green Bay has to make it happen. So there's no other team that's going to come out and pick them up. And also, so they were talking about the Patriots for a second, but that's ridiculous because it's just insane.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting, and you brought a very couple good takes here, which you were talking about. You were talking about that money as well, which is extremely important. And I talked about that, too, discussing the fact that, hey, they need some weapons for love, right? And they haven't made, a ton of moves in free agency. But guess what? Having that money and allowing yourself to be able to go and grab those players that are left out there, just in case you need to pick up something, would be huge. But I also think that the compensation as well for this upcoming draft could be huge, just when you look at the impact that the recent draft had on the New York Jets, right? You could actually get something with the type of compensation reportedly that we're trying to give them, those 2 second-round picks, one could turn into a first. You could really turn your football team around. Now, that leads me to ask you this question, Bill. Do you think that this is a trade that will play out after the draft, or do you think that this is a trade that could be done on draft night? What would be better for the Green Bay Packers, in your opinion?
I can tell you, I really think they want this, the compensation. They're working about next year's compensation. This year is not going to help them that much. They're in shambles. They know it. They have all kinds of issues going on, not just from losing Rodgers and Lazard also is gone. They have, a lot of guys who are going to look at the situation. They're going to say, okay, what's happening here with the team? We got how are we treating our number one guy? They needed to settle down. I don't think they can make a lot of moves. That's why I think they're going to wait till after the draft. I think that's part of the issue is that I'm thinking Joe says, you know what, I don't want to give you anything this year because I need all I can because I have a short window with Aaron. But maybe after the draft, since next year, we'll be flexible to give you, maybe a second that maybe could convert to a first. At that point, it doesn't matter because hopefully it'll be a late first. And then I think that the Green Bay Packers need the cap space. They have, was like a $60 million, $40 million hit or something like $40 million cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want to take all that next year when they have an opportunity to grow? They should just take it all this year. So, we'll see if it happens. I'm thinking it'll probably happen right after the draft. And I think we're going to use our picks this year. And if we have to figure out what it is next year, I think that's what's going to happen. But, they told us in the beginning it's going to take a long time. Everyone's losing their minds out there, and they got to just relax, go with the flow, and it's all going to happen. I've seen these guys talking about you need Rodgers to be in camp, which is ridiculous because he never shows in the OTAs anyway, right? That was the most amazing thing. One guy from Green Bay was saying, "Oh, you want to be there for OTAs?" And he's like, "Well, if you can get him to show up to the OTAs," I'm like, "He's never shown up for you guys. Why would he show up for us for the first year? It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense." But, I know people out there in Green Bay are losing their minds. It's like the first time in 30 years they're going to have to deal with what we've been dealing with for the last decades or so of having a quarterback question. So those guys are losing their minds on Twitter.
Yeah,
they need some group therapy.
Yeah, the Packers fans have definitely, had a lot to say to me. I don't go crazy on Twitter. I'm not a crazy social media guy. I don't talk to people crazy. In real life or social media, I try to keep to myself. But they're not very happy. I will say that, and they I respect it and I understand it, but sometimes, things can get a bit wild, and that leads me to our next question for you, Bill. You talked about, we got the offseason program coming up soon, right? I believe it's April 17th. Things are moving and shaking. Now, we signed Tim Boyle to a 1-year deal here, all right? And when you're talking about the deal not being done with Aaron Rodgers, could be after the draft. We'll see when he actually, this gets done or whatever. But with Tim Boyle on the roster, that provides you a guy that understands Aaron Rodgers, how he thinks, how he ticks, everything, what he wants to see within the offense. He also understands Nathaniel Hackett, right? He knows everything that he wants to do. He spent time with him 2019, 2020, got to the Packers in 2018. And he also understands this offense through and through. Now, for me, when you sign a guy like that, even though Sulla has said that Zach Wilson will be the number 2, I don't see how Zach is the number 2, because this guy is going to come in and be able to tell everybody everything about what needs to be done offensively. What are your thoughts on Tim Boyle being brought in, and do you think that this opens the door to Zach Wilson being a New York Jets third-string quarterback? What say you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't see what the big deal is. People talk about QB2, QB3. Doesn't matter. We have QB1 that's, he's emerged from the darkness, right, and sign him and bring him on. The only issue, again, like you said, is we got Tim Boyle. Right now, he could be working with everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone could be working on getting things up to speed even before we get to the April 17th deadline, start of OTAs. So you bring him in. Again, strike of brilliance from our side. You get him in. He could play proxy for Rodgers in the interim. But more than even being on the field, it's just getting on the phone with these guys, getting in the meeting room, talking about going over what to expect and explaining the offense. Mm-hmm. Get everyone up to speed. It's another thing that, it's another thing with the Rodgers transaction. It's like, oh, well, you need him as soon as possible. He's got to get on the same page with everyone else. He knows the offense already. Mm-hmm. He just needs to get some reps in there during, late in the season, late in the preseason, what have you, just to get comfortable with him. But he already knows the offense. You have Tim Boyle in. He's going to train everyone, teach everyone the offense that way it needs to be taught. So, it's a win-win. So that's what it stands for Zach. I thought going into the year, it was clear Zach was going to take a bench. He's going to be third-string guy, sit back, like they were saying should have been done from day one.
Yeah.
So I think it works comfortably in terms of that. I don't think Zach is feeling any pressure. I mean, I'm sure he's cut off all social media, so we're not going to hear much from him anyway. But he's going to basically have to sit back. He's got a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's got a guy who knows the system coming in now to kind of work with him. So those guys should be in the QB room all day, all night, working on this stuff. And Zach's just going to try and get better. We know he works hard. Mm-hmm. We know he's a workaholic. We know the guy wants to get better. Just some disconnect. He's just got to figure out the disconnect. And if he has no pressure, has the opportunity to just go back and sit back on how the deal is done, then we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. Good news, too, is that we have 2 years with Rodgers. Boyle will be number 2. He'll just be around as long as we need him around. But Zach can come out as the number 2 next year and maybe be prepared at the end of 2 years to start, and we'll see what we have. So when people look at the compensation and what we're getting out of this for the cost for the salary-wise, it's like, we're getting 2 for 1 with maybe Zach learning from Rodgers and getting in a position where he can actually start. But to your point, we know what he is right now at Rodgers, where Zach is now. We'll see what he is in a year and a half, 2 years, and then this whole thing could turn around. Then we could have our 10-year starter right there. So I think this whole thing it's all amazing to see it all happen. We see Joe Douglas is putting this thing together, waiting to be put. We've seen Williams sitting back and just writing the checks like he's supposed to do, and it looks like it's looking pretty good. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm telling, and I think that the signing of Tim Boyle is a masterful move by Joe Douglas because again, the longer this plays out, right, the longer you're waiting on guys to kind of gain chemistry, the longer you're waiting on guys to kind of figure out the offense. Again, this is a new offensive coordinator. They said they're going to keep a lot of concepts that were ran with Mike LaFleur as far as what we do within the Shanahan system, but the verbiage is going to be different. A lot of the ticks are going to be different. Well, now you bring in a guy that, of course, he's not Aaron Rodgers. We all know that Tim Boyle is not Aaron Rodgers, but he's a guy that can get you up to speed so that when Aaron Rodgers, whenever this whole shindig goes down, right, once Aaron Rodgers steps in the door, everybody won't look like a deer with the headlights on, okay? Deer in the headlights. It won't look like that. It'll be like, okay, we know where we need to go, but we just got to, just get – reinvigorated, reconnected with the man Aaron Rodgers, but we know what he expects and we know what to do within this offense. So that was huge to me. Now,
absolutely, that's the thing about a lot of
go ahead.
A lot of fans don't look at that. They don't understand how it goes. They just think that he's not going to show up. No one's going to know what to do. It's like it's during the week when you got the installation.
Yep.
When you have preseason, when you're working on the offense.
Yep.
Yeah, that QB room is critical. They have to understand what's going on. They're going to go out and go to the receiver room, go to the offensive lineman room. They're going to talk to the guys, and they're going to be instructors also on top of that. They have their position coaches. So when you look at that, like you said, you have someone who's mastered this offense who knows Aaron Rodgers and his tendencies, and that's a proxy. You can't go wrong with that. So you get a masterful move by Big Joe.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about Quentin Jefferson being signed? The New York Jets are trying to fill a lot of these holes along the defensive line. We know we lost Rankins. We lost Shepard, missed out on Fletcher Cox, also Calais Campbell, which was a shocker to me. He signed with Atlanta before he even visited us. I thought we were going to get that guy. I really did. But, we didn't end up with him. What are your thoughts about Quentin Jefferson being signed by the New York Jets? And AI Wood supposedly coming on a visit as well. How are you feeling about what we're doing along this defensive line?
Definitely good. Like I mentioned earlier, we had a couple of holes. We need to fill those holes. Jefferson, solid guy. Look at the stats. People just take a look at the numbers. I look at some ratings from some other sites. The ratings, not what they had envisioned, but you look at what his statistical output has been as a rotational guy, and the guy's pressures and his tackles for losses numbers are ridiculous. They're through the roof. And this is a guy, just because he's not a household name, he doesn't get 50, 60 snaps a game. People don't understand, but he fits in well with the Jets. What we do on a rotational basis, so that's key. Losing guys like Calais Campbell, I mean, that happens. I think a lot of guys are picking one-year deals.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't looking at the numbers, but the immediate deal is popping next year in 2024, so that's going to increase the cap by a significant amount. So a lot of guys are doing one-year deals. I think the Jets are looking, and they want to get guys to maybe more than a one-year deal, like a Calais Campbell. You want to kind of tie him down. So if he's just there for 1 year, you really don't want him anyway because he's going to bounce. So, I kind of respect that. I kind of see the strategy. So there'll be some guys we're going to miss out on. So there might be some bigger name guys who get 1 year deals out this year and then try to break the bank next year. But I think Joe's done a good job. Like I said, if we can get Al Woods comes in, maybe take a look at that. Draft, they have some solid candidates there. And then, everyone forgets about Tenzel Smart. I think he's still on the roster. He came in when we had injuries. That guy's always been a solid player. He contributes on a rotational basis also. So it's got to fit into what we're looking for. They're not looking for big name guys who are going to be in there for 60 snaps. But these guys are going to come in 40 to 35 snaps on a rotational basis, keep everyone fresh. That's the nature of the offense. So I think we're building this thing right. Definitely, Jefferson was a solid pick. You look at the guy's quotes. That was just like every other guy that Joe picks up. The guys talk about how we're going to work hard, we're going to get in there, we're going to work as a team, we're going to win. Positive guys, solid guys, high character. So very excited.
Yeah. I mean, you brought some awesome fire there. Before I let you go, Quinnen Williams, April 17th. The clock just continues to tick on. We know he's not going to show up to anything voluntary unless there's an extension in place, unless he gets a new deal. Listen, Jeff Simmons just signed a $23.5 million deal today with the Titans. That's that's their D line. That's their star right there. The number keeps going up. What do you think is going to be the price tag for Quinnen Williams? And do you think we'll get this done before the voluntary stuff starts?
I don't know what the number's going to be. They're going to get it done. They're going to make it worth his while for sure.
Would you be okay with them getting
attitude right now?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but would you be willing, or would you be okay with them giving Quinnen Williams $25 million per season?
Yeah, why should I care? Sure, give him $50 million. Give him what he wants. I don't understand these fans who worry about Woody's money so much. Why do they worry about Woody's money? It's not their money. Pay him whatever you want to pay him. Pay him, make him the highest paid guy. Whatever. He's a guy. Keep him happy. Show everyone that we take care of our players, and that's how you become a winner. That's how you attract free agents. It's bad enough that we have to deal with the state tax situation. So you got to pay guys who are what they're worth. Before we had to pay guys just to get them because the team was horrible. Now that the team is showing promise, you have to pay guys still no matter what to deal with the competition. That's how we lost Tariq Hill. He made a comment about the taxes and whatnot and other issues, but it's a factor. You got to pay our guys. You can't cheat these guys and have alligator arms. When it comes to the state, they have to live in and pay highest taxes in the country, or some of the highest taxes, and you got to pay your guys so you appreciate them. It's the situation that's going on here versus what's going on in Green Bay. In Green Bay, they're kind of alienating their guys. We're there. Here we have to show our guys that they're wanted. They're going to be taken care of if they work. So I think Joe is going to take a crowbar to Woody's wallet. He's going to get it done, and I think it's going to get done. It's got to get done before training camp to make sure that we get him in. There's no distractions. I mean, it's probably being done behind the scenes right now as far as we know. So, I just expect to see that done any day. And we got one Williams brother. We'll get the other Williams brother, and we'll get them happy and keep it going.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, Bill, I want to thank you for calling in tonight. It was a phenomenal call from you. You have yourself a good one, my friend.
Gary, you the man, Joe. Thanks.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Salute to all the savages in the chat. Kenton says he's talking about this Packers fan base, man. He says that we're a very divided fan base right now. He also says we still have love for Rodgers, but we think Jordan Love could be good. I think the Packers don't want to take in money from Rodgers, but we need the picks more. That's a fact. That's a fact. We'll see what happens going forward. There's been a lot of negotiation about the capital as far as compensation picks, and there's also been a lot of talk about how much the New York Jets are willing to take of Aaron Rodgers' contract. All right, we're going to see how this all plays out. It's very interesting, but I tell you what, the longer this draws out, the longer, things can happen. Again, wherever you watch me from, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, share it across your social media with your friends and your family. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. All right, and hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Salutes to all of the savages. We're going to get back to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, we're going to go to Jake, man. We know that Jake going to have something to say on this. Okay. Salutes to you, Jake. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know, Jake, he's a savage. Savage! Jake's a savage. Salutes to you, Jake. Listen, we're sitting here and we're talking. We've been discussing all night. We've had a lot to discuss. I want to start off with Quinnen Williams with you first, though. All right? Been a lot of talk about Quinnen Williams. We all know what he brings to this football team. The pressure, the disruption, led the Jets in sacks this season. Jeff Simmons just signed a $23.5 per year $1 million deal with the Titans. I think it's 4 years, $94 million in all. This number keeps going up for Quinnen Williams, man. Number keeps going up for Quinnen Williams. April 17th around the corner. We know that he's not going to show up to anything voluntary unless there's an extension in place. He told us that. First off, do you think the deal gets done before the voluntary stuff starts? And second off, what do you think the deal is going to look like? How much per year are you willing to give Quinnen Williams? 24, 25, 26? Give me your thoughts.
Joe, good evening as always. Happy Friday.
Salute.
Happy Easter, Passover to everybody. Weekend, of course.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Happy holidays to you. Happy Easter. Where's my manners? Happy Easter to everyone. I apologize. Go ahead.
Yep. Well, actually, I just turned 35 on Wednesday, so I had a nice steak dinner for Passover. So
happy belated birthday
share that
to you.
First.
Yeah. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, man. Look, I'm 35, and yet I still have all my hair, so I'm pretty lucky right now.
Yeah. That's a win. That's a win. That's a W.
Absolutely. So, anyway, I did read about Jeffrey Simmons. Honestly, at this point, I would wait till training camp. The reports earlier had been the last couple of months that they're fine waiting until training camp. He knows the system. I'm not worried about that at this point. Mm-hmm. He knows the system. He's going to get paid. They pay him $1 million more than what Jeffrey Simmons did with it, 23, 24. Then pay him what he's going to be. We cannot let free agents leave anymore. Okay, we have to start have a lasting impression on top players that we're going to keep them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, let's face it, if McCagnon had stayed here, he would have kept Jamal Adams. I really believe that. He would have.
That is a fact.
The fact is that Joe Douglas came in and just wanted to get rid of him because he knew he had no allegiance to him, and he was a head case and all that, and they get 2 first-round picks. That's the magic of JD we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about that. It's Aaron Rodgers right now, man. That is everything to this team right now. We've got to get this done, and I'll tell you something right now. I mean, the reports just came out today that it would get done by the draft, which Brian Guncuss, hello, you should be doing that. Brian, are you hearing me? You really want to get crappy picks in the next 2 years? Okay, wait after the draft. I'm fine with that.
What's crazy, Jake?
Jake, him going to the Niners, all that.
Jake, and I don't mean to cut you off, but everything that you're saying, and that's why we've had these discussions tonight, and everybody has their different perspective, right? But everyone's saying, especially a lot of people looking at it from Green Bay side and saying, well, they should have no problem waiting until after the draft. That's how they want to play this. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if you're moving forward with Jordan Love, you need help for him today. The same way that this recent draft helped us immensely to evaluate Zach Wilson, this upcoming draft could help them immensely to properly evaluate Jordan Love. If you want to wait until after the draft, you're not giving this guy any help with young players today, which means you're setting him up for regression next year, which could get you fired because that's the guy that you took. So you basically wasted all this time. And again, I think they have a 5th-year option coming up for him as well. You've wasted all this time with this guy, and then you finally put him in place. There's a lot of holes on your football team. If you keep having this trade drag out, all this drama playing out, you're only hurting yourself, and you're setting the New York Jets up for success because then they'll know, okay, yeah, we're not going to get it done until after the draft. Well, we're just going to start trading down so we can gain more capital. So anything that we lose in the future, who cares? We'll give you the 2 seconds or whatever else because we're going to have so many more picks because we know what the future is. Your future is going to be in peril. Who knows if you're even going to be there because you're wasting time with Jordan Love. I think that, I'm telling you, the longer this plays out, the longer this drags out, Jake, like you were saying, I think the New York Jets gain more and more leverage, and the Packers already don't have any leverage as it is. Go ahead.
Like I said the last couple of weeks, and I will say it again, the McAfee episode with Rodgers, as much as he now playing for the Jets, showed you the Packers are a dysfunctional mess. Their management is a joke. You have to look back and see how Rodgers had to mention things about Ted Thompson and Reggie McKenzie, and things were just spiraling out of control. You're watching a general manager who was the Jet. I'm going to say it right now because he deserves this title right now. He's the general manager who had Aaron Rodgers. He is showing you he's not a general manager right now. He's a scared little boy who's trying to show face right now and trying to do anything he can to act like he's strong-arming the Jets, which he's not. Joe Douglas is gaining more leverage every day by this. And I am more than happy if they want to do this trade on draft day. It's fine. I'm even fine doing this, honestly, by June 1st at this point now. It makes even perfect sense. So then we'll just the whole salary cap issue gets resolved, which is really what this, I think, truly about is dragged out. And we're going to give up crappier draft picks. They're not – I'm telling you right now, guys, it's the second rounder this year and a conditional pick next year. They're not getting even the 2 second rounders this year. I'm telling you.
Wow.
They're not getting it. They're going to get, at best, the second rounder this year and a conditional third rounder next year. And every day keeps going by. Joe Douglas can sit back and have cake and cookies and enjoy himself every day and rock himself slumber, knowing he's going to have the upper hand on this no matter what. So I just – and you know what? And look, I know the other point wants to be mentioned tonight. The Niners – dude, they got Sam Darnold. Okay? My friend's a diehard Niners fan. He knows this organization in and out with people. They know they're keeping their quarterbacks, what they have right now. They would not have gone out of their way to sign guys like Darnold and all these people. Yeah. And the picks they traded with Trey Lance, they would have traded Trey Lance at this point to Ray Carson in Tennessee. That didn't happen. They're keeping their quarterbacks. It's clickbait, guys, okay? RELAX. Please stop reading all this crap on if I can say crap, sorry.
You can say crap. You could say crap. You can say crap. That's cool. Go ahead.
Okay. Doo-doo, whatever, maybe that also. But, yeah, it's just – They have their schedule straight already because Purdy's not going to play next year. He's got a bad injury. But anyway, he's coming here, guys. He's coming. It's just a question of how embarrassing do we want to make Brian Gutekunst every single day. Because honestly, he looks like a little child.
Wow.
Who doesn't know? He looks like, if you see that movie Draft, he looks like the Jaguars general manager who's panicking right now. That's what he looks like.
Okay, listen, and this is Jake. He's that Jake is speaking his mind here. Now, as we continue to talk about this situation with the quarterback, right, putting Aaron Rodgers aside, the New York Jets made a really good, what I believe is a very solid signing in Tim Boyle. They've brought this guy in here, and this is a guy, again, that has a lot of familiarity with Aaron Rodgers. They're really good. They have a good rapport, good relationship. He was with them, when he played on the Packers, 2019, 2020. Also has familiarity with the offensive system. Also has familiarity with Nathaniel Hackett, our offensive coordinator, which was his offensive coordinator as well with the Packers. What are your thoughts about this move for the New York Jets to sign Tim Boyle to a one-year deal? And does this open the door to Zach Wilson being a New York Jets third-string quarterback?
Well, look, I think Hackett's got to bring in a guy who he wants. I have zero problem with that. I want to still believe they're going to draft somebody later. Maybe this kind of ends that argument there, which I could be wrong. Maybe
draft another quarterback? Whoa. Wait, Jake.
I said this a week or so ago. They would draft another late quarterback. We talked about this.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's go there then. If you're saying the Jets are drafting another quarterback and we're getting Aaron Rodgers and Tim Boyle, what happens with Zach Wilson then?
Well, that was going to be my next point. My point is what I was going to say next is that this is Zach Wilson's chance right here to show you if he's even worthy of being in the league anymore. Okay, because if he cannot beat out Tim Boyle in camp, it's over. It is 100% over. Like they will have his draft value, his trade value. Hold on. His trade value will be in the toilet. My original theory was, before they brought in Boyle, is they would at least bring in a quarterback that could be made into a developmental quarterback, because they do have to think about either having a future backup in case Zach Wilson just has to, burn out in flames, or he turns out to be somewhat decent. They want to trade him. Maybe that's their plan, maybe in training camp. But the reality is that they're still going to plan to draft a real quarterback probably in the next 2 years after the Aaron Rodgers deal is done. So just going back to my point about the quarterback is more to have a developmental guy, or maybe a guy that could be a backup. Who knows? We can't rule that out. But I can't really I could be wrong. I'm admitting I could be wrong because Boyle signed with us, and I have no problem with it. I'd rather have a guy who's a veteran presence. This is guy going to win 7-8 games, and God forbid Aaron Rodgers goes out. No, guys, good luck. The season's over. So, but I think if anything, it's going to be a real test for Zach Wilson. This is it. If he loses his job to Tim Boyle as the backup, it is over. It is over. I know, unless someone wants to deal with a reclamation project with him on another team, his time here is over.
Yeah.
I'm not going to debate that.
Yeah. Here's the deal, and I hear your point. I believe, right, the signing of Tim Boyle sets up a situation to actually allow Zach Wilson to truly rectify his career here, and here's why. If he is the third string quarterback, which again, we'll see what happens if the Jets draft a guy, which I don't think they'll draft a QB, but who knows, right? But let's say we go forward with Aaron Rodgers, Tim Boyle, and Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson will finally have the chance to sit down and learn the offense behind two veteran guys, and that's what he needs. To the reset that everybody talked about, that reset and fix him last season, he has so many things wrong with him mechanically and mentally at this point because his confidence is shot. He can't read a defense. He has issues with his feet. His drop back is terrible. All of that stuff is not going to get fixed in a week, and it doesn't get fixed in 2 weeks. When you talk about fixing quarterbacks mechanically, it takes a long time. Look at Josh Allen, right, with the Bills. It took them a long time to fix his mechanics. Of course, he was better off than Zach Wilson, but it took a while. If you could fix QB's mechanics in seconds, any quarterback coach could do that, could be a billionaire. That's not how it works. When you look at Joe Douglas, he is tied to Zach Wilson. They've talked about through hell or high water. Sulla has talked about it. Everybody. We will coach Zach Wilson through hell or high water. We're married to this guy. We are going to do whatever it takes until we figure out the most that we can get out of this kid. And I think sitting down behind a Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers and another veteran guy that understands the offense, that can help him out in every single facet, with a new offensive coordinator that can really tailor things to his skill set, will be the best thing that could ever happen for Zach Wilson. And that will truly, truly give us a look to see if he's ever going to be anything here, ever. Putting him in bubble wrap for a year and sitting him down behind two vets is the best thing for Zach Wilson. And you know who's crazy? And I'm going to keep bringing this up because everybody dumped on him on his way out of here. Mike LaFleur said this. He said this before he got up out of here. When they asked him about the failures of Zach Wilson and what the coaching staff could have done better and how could they have done better coaching him, one of the things he said was it would have benefited Zach Wilson to sit behind a veteran for a year or however long to really understand the game before he got put out on the field. And that opened the door to everyone saying maybe Zach was never really ready to be the starter day one. And then, eventually Mike LaFleur was up out of here. But that's the truth. That's what he needs. And I think that situation would help him a lot. And again, I don't think they're going to cut him. I don't think they can trade him either. He ain't got no trade value. He's shown you he cannot functionally run an offense at all. Nobody's going to give you big capital for a full-blown reclamation project. Nobody's going to do that. So I think that this is setting up a situation where he could really be set up, put in bubble wrap, and given a chance to succeed here. Give me your thoughts on that, Jake.
Well, I mean, first I think I think the Josh Allen argument, I'm sorry to say, is not the best argument because you have probably one of the smartest offensive-minded people in the league coaching him. So I don't really like using that example.
I'm not using the example.
I'm
not using the example of.
Well, you did. Well, you mentioned that. Hold on. Let me kind of my point. I'm just telling you that I don't think using Brian Dable, if he's turned Daniel Jones to making the kind of money I never thought he'd make in his life. Mm-hmm. I love what Daniel Jones did this year, but Brian Dable's clearly a quarterback whisperer. So you have to give him a chunk of the credit because Josh Allen's mechanics actually got worse this year. Like, he showed a lot of flaws. Hence, how do you think we beat him this year? So that I just wanted to say that thing first. Maybe that is their plan with Zach Wilson. I could be wrong. I'm just speculating what I think is possibly for this team to do. Mm-hmm. I think Aaron Rodgers' relationship with Zach, I think that definitely does play a role. We all know the news about the two of them being buddies and whatever. The comment he made about, like, you're spending too much time in the film room. I remember all that stuff that was talked about. So I think that does play a part. But let's see what happens in the draft, man. I'm not completely ruling out that idea that they're going to get another quarterback in this room. Mm-hmm. I'm not disagreeing with you, but mm-hmm. It's a wait and see thing. I'm trying to go on your response right now.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear you, Jake. I'm just, when I use the example of Josh Allen had a lot of issues mechanically wrong with him, and it showed up. He was very inaccurate, all that stuff. Remember, we used to call him a glorified running back. I did. Everybody took shots at him. And then all of a sudden, he came along. And one of the big things, that MVP candidate year that he had, when they asked him what happened, how did you turn it around? He talked about getting with coaches and how they fixed his mechanics and everything changed. And it took a minute. It took a minute for them to do that. But he said he kept working. And then, boom, he just got it together. And there was a big season. Of course, they didn't have the greatest season last season. But they still were out there, and he put together some numbers. And, I mean, we could see, we'll see what happens going forward with Zach Wilson. I'm not going to say he's going to be Josh Allen. But putting him in this situation, I think, greatly benefits him. Now, as we continue to talk about the New York Jets, right, and we talk about this situation, we also are looking at a position here, the running back situation. I want to get your thoughts on this, Jake. When you look at it, man, Breece Hall, supposedly, he's going to be coming back. We'll see what happens with the injury. I'm a big proponent of looking at Michael Carter. I think he's a guy that can turn it around this upcoming season, particularly in the passing game because of the other weapons that we've been added. Him coming out the backfield, I think, is going to be a nightmare for a lot of opposing defenses. What are your thoughts about this current running back position group? And could you see the New York Jets actually drafting a running back in this upcoming draft?
Well, Joe, I know you love Michael Carter because after I called him the Bills game, you were literally screaming your excitement about him. So we clearly know how much you love him. That's the number one thing. I still remember when you said that to me, I was like, man, he is motivated right now. So we definitely know how. Yeah. So, I mean, Carter's going to be in the mix. Donovan Knight's going to be in the mix. Breece Hall is going to be fine. His injury was so early in the season. He is going to be, with an ACL injury of his type, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about, if they want to, ease him in, maybe not even playing for preseason. I'm fine with that. It's no big deal. It's about week 1. He's going to be ready for week 1. Yeah, listen, I know you want to talk about the running game, but, like, the question I want to talk about really is the offensive line.
Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of called into this show late, so I don't know what else you guys have been talking about. Have people, like, on this show, and you guys have even talking about kind of, like, the direction of, like, what we're going to be drafting?
Yeah,
I feel like offensive line should be priority of anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed a little bit. Ryan called earlier, and just to kind of, close out the conversation with you, Ryan called earlier, and we discussed a little bit about the offensive line and how it was moving and shaking. And we're going to be discussing that a lot as well as the draft comes up. But when you look at it, I think tackle is definitely something we'll be looking at. And I think that there's a big conversation to be had because Dwayne Brown is being talked about as a guy that could end up being the New York Jets starting left tackle, which in my mind puts Mekhi Becton back at right tackle. But right now, I think the New York Jets have a gigantic hole at center as well because to this point, and the show is live, we'll see what happens as, things keep moving and shaking out. But to this point, Ben Jones has not been signed by the Jets. Connor McGovern has walked away. What are we doing there? I think the New York Jets can end up taking a center in this upcoming draft as well. Give me your thoughts on the shaking up of the offensive line.
I 100% I've wanted a center for the last 5 years. I mean, I haven't been comfortable with center since Mangold. I wanted Garrett Bradbury. I wanted Creed Humphreys. I wanted Tyler Linderbaum. Look how they're all doing right now. Bradbury just got re-signed to a big deal. Creed Humphreys is now on a Super Bowl winning team. Tyler Linderbaum had an injury and still came in and was a star center, even though Lamar's whatever. I'm just telling you, man, like this team needs a young center. These centers are just getting better every time you draft them.
Yeah.
So I think it's in the best interest right now to, in my opinion, still draft a center. Ben Jones is going to get cheaper as the days go by. No one's picked him up yet. So his value after the draft is only going to get cheaper. And he's going to rely back on going to a familiar coaching staff with who's the offensive line coach now? I forgot his name. What's his name?
Are you talking about our offensive line coach?
The Jets offensive line coach. I'm not talking about Dow.
Keith Carter. Keith Carter, the Tennessee Titans' old offensive line coach. Keith Carter is now our guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think JD has had conversations with Jones and his agent and said, listen, we're interested, but we're going to go into the draft and see what we have. And, he could have got offended, but he's still a free agent. So clearly that is still a possibility. It's the same thing how we're drafting like Quan Alexander. We're going to draft a linebacker, which, guys, we need to draft linebackers because outside of the atrocity contract by McCagnon with TJ Mosley, we have minimal linebackers on this team right now. So if you watch against the Patriots, how many times they dink and dunked on us. So I just want to get that out because I'm tired of people not addressing that problem. But the point is that right now the offensive line, center, and tackle should be priority. I'm sorry, I'm not relying on Mekhi Becton until I start seeing it. I'm not. He right now is an afterthought to me until I start seeing anything of him on the field.
Boy, let me tell you something, Jake. Right now, you are talking.
I know your takes.
You are talking to the biggest Mekhi Becton fan. Okay, right now, that's who you're talking to, Jake. All right? I'm telling you, don't get me going, Jake. Don't get me going, man. Don't do it.
Here we go.
Jake.
On this chat, so I'm just telling you. You're the siren, so here you are. Here I am.
Jake, all right, listen. All right, I don't give a damn where we put him. Right tackle, left tackle, he's looking phenomenal. That boy is in the gym. You heard? Every day he taking pictures. He looking slimmer and slimmer for all the haters that was trying to say he was out of shape and fat, whatever, right? The knee injury looking like it's good to go. I'm telling y'all, when 7-7 is back out there, I don't want to hear nothing. When he out there throwing people around, picking people up, letting people know what time it is, all right, and serving people the right way, I don't want to hear nothing. That's all I'm going to say, Jake. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts on that, man. That's all I'm going to say.
My thoughts are clear. It's been 2 years of not playing.
What?
It's hard to be a player to be out 2 years and back.
Okay.
Sorry, that's just the reality. And I watched this last year with the pictures and the T-shirts and all that stuff, and he was not prepared at all. Now, maybe he had an awakening. I hope he does, but I think right now as fans, we're not sitting here begging for Mekhi Becton to be playing because we know we've gotten out of him now for 2 years already.
Okay.
And even in his rookie year, he got hurt his rookie year too.
No, yeah.
So I don't like players who are this inconsistently injured and then just say, well, I took some pictures of not eating Chipotle for 5 months and now I'm sweating in a gym. It's not selling it yet. Sorry, guy. I need to see it. I think anybody here would believe that. And, I don't even think that's like my savage, sirens ringing moment comment. I think it's just the cold hard facts right now.
No, yeah. Look, Jake, yeah, I hear you.
I think we need to draft a tackle. We have to. I do.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And I understand that. I understand when people have that taken. I've said it myself that, even though I love Mekhi Becton, I think he's phenomenal. I could see the New York Jets taking a tackle, not even to, replace Mekhi Becton or not necessarily being an insurance factor for Mekhi Becton. Yeah, sure. But also, you look at the future. Dwayne Brown ain't gonna be playing forever, baby. He ain't gonna be here.
For him too, especially.
Yeah, and he dealt with the injury as well last season. Yeah, he dealt with an injury. So, we'll see what happens going forward. But Jake, I gotta slide off. Listen, this was a phenomenal call from you. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend.
We've got a couple weeks, man. All right,
all right.
Guys. RELAX. He's coming.
That's
He's
what I'm
coming. All right.
All right. Salutes, Jake. Listen, Jay called in. We had some takes tonight. This was a phenomenal show. Phenomenal show. Salutes to all the savages in the chat, man. Going off, going back and forth. Kenton says Jake is wrong. I understand. There's a lot of people that don't agree with takes about Aaron Rodgers or how the Packers are handling the situation or the compensation that's going to be given up. We will see. A lot of things, again, are moving and shaking. A lot of reports flying around on what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and close up the show. Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Your boy's also on Twitter as well. Okay, I'm on Twitter. At The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Okay, go on over there. Follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times. We've had some discussion about the offensive line tonight. Vera Tucker is going to be back next season. All right? He's going to be back next season. He's going to be healthy. And he is going to dominate people. He's going to throw people around. And he's going to show them the what for. All right? I'm telling you. If you want to fix your offensive line, just take a guy from USC. That's all I'm saying, man. It ain't rocket science. It ain't rocket science. You got a Trojan on your helmet? We got you. You're good to go. All right? Fight on. So go ahead. Yeah. Follow me and follow you right back. We'll talk as well. Personal Twitter is YoungJ000 for those of you that do not know that. Now you do. I'm also on YouTube as well. Come on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Give the videos a thumbs up. And if you want to troll me, get in the comments of those videos and troll me, and I'll go back and forth. And as always, people, when you see me in person, because you will see me in person eventually, I'll be outside. I ain't gonna lie to you. When you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. I want to thank you folks for taking the time to call in, the savages in the chat going off, everybody going back and forth. Any way that you interact with the show, I appreciate it. Without you folks, I am absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the times out of your day to interact with the boy any way that you can. I'm going to get on up out of here. You folks have a good one. Peace. 1 second, folks. Pow. Okay, I'm back. Listen, salutes to everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining me for the show. If you are new, okay, salutes to you, Kenton. Kenton says I'll call in next time. Hopefully, again, we'll be doing another show. We do these shows year round. For those of you that are new, The next show we're going to have, I believe, is going to be Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern is the next show. All right. Exclamation point links in the chat brings up my link tree. That link tree, okay, has the links to all of my social media platforms. It also has the links to all of my YouTube pages. I do content. I do. Childish. I do have content on other YouTube channels on the platform. For those of you that know, my reaction videos is out there. A lot of people having fun watching those. Check those out. It's all in that link tree. All of my social media platforms, all of my YouTube content is there as well. So check those out. Subscribe, hit the notification bell for those. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for those YouTube channels as well. And we have a lot of fun. And please, again, follow your boy across social media and talk to me because I talk back. Now, keep in mind, we do these shows year round. Okay, year round, we do these shows. Again, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern is going to be the next show. Look, I take live callers on the show, as y'all see right here. Okay, we take live callers. 7 p.m. Eastern is when the show starts. Okay, what people do to get on the show early, what they do is they'll call in before 7 p.m. Eastern. This is the part of the show that Val Outlaw, I don't know where he is, but Val Outlaw loves this part when I tell people the ancient secret, okay? People call in at 6:55 p.m. when the lines open. The lines for my show open at 6:55 p.m. Eastern, but the show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. So all you have to do is wait about 5 minutes for the show to open, okay? And I usually spend time about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, as y'all saw tonight, 5 to 10 minutes giving my perspective about, whatever we're going to discuss tonight. And then I go straight to the lines and I listen to the people. And so what people do to get on the show earlier is they just call in at 6:55 p.m. Eastern and they wait on the lines, and then boom, they get on the show earlier. That's how it is. Y'all saw tonight we had some callers. I don't want to toot my own horn, but we have callers and we get to everybody. Now, keep in mind when you call, okay, I have a queue system so I can see you, okay? I can physically see you. When you call in, just wait. I get to everybody. My hold times are not long, okay? We had calls tonight. We're going back and forth, but especially when the show is just ultra busy, because there's been nights when it's just, wow, it's just flaming takes. Believe me, I'll give you more than enough time to make your point. Generally, I give people about 5 to 7 minutes to really talk, make their points, and get things rolling, okay? Keep in mind when you call, all right? Make sure I be able to hear you. Y'all heard some people tonight. You know what I'm saying? A guy had a crazy headset. You got to correct that stuff, okay? If I can't hear you, then I'm going to move on. If I have issues hearing you and you can't get it together, I'm telling you, I'm going to move on. Please don't call in with a bunch of crazy headsets, Home Depot headset you found in a dumpster. You want to call me from the muffler of an old Chevelle. I can't hear you, okay? I need to be able to hear you. All right, so make sure everything's clear and good on your end. Don't call me when you're on speakerphone. It's echoing crazy. If I cannot hear you, right, and my audience can't hear you, I'm going to have to move on, okay? I need to be able to hear your points. I need to be able to hear what you have to say. Also, when you call in, please make sure there's no background noise as well. A bunch of crazy background noise. You're calling me when you're on your jackhammer at your construction job. Please put down the jackhammer, go down the street. Let me hear you, free of background noise so that I'll be able to understand. That's the whole point of it. I need to be able to understand. I understand people call me from their jobs. They call me. I get it. You got to move. You got to shake. You got to make your money. I understand that, player. You want to talk Jets with Joe, but you want to go. I get it. All right. But I need to be able to hear you. Make sure your background is clean. Make sure your phone line's good. Make sure that I'll be able to hear you. Also, for my new callers, and, even some old callers, in case you didn't know or don't remember, I don't allow cursing on my platform, okay? I don't allow that, all right? Don't call in cursing on my platform, or I'll get you out of here fast. It's a family show. It's a family show, all right? And I know you folks are super intelligent. I don't really have any problems with y'all because you're intelligent and you can, express yourselves without having to curse. I know it. So we don't have those problems, but I don't allow that on my platform. Don't call in here cursing crazy or I'll get you out of here. I cannot let it happen. Can't let it happen. GVH says, put down the jackhammer, people. Yeah, you got to put it down. You know, I've had people call me from their jobs. You know, in construction, they drilling. Zzz, Joe, listen, I'm telling you, Zach Wilson, he's got some problems. Zzz, listen, put that stuff down, okay? I need to be able to hear you. All right, I want to hear your takes. I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear what you got to say about everything going on with the New York Jets. That's what the show is about. I'm all about interacting with everyone. Also, you know, as y'all see, you know, again, we have people in the chat currently that aren't even Jets fans. You do not have to be a Jet fan to call into the show. Okay, now keep in mind, we talk Jets. Okay, you see these two dudes right here next to me. We bleed green over here. But we want to hear your perspective. You know, you can call in, talk a little bit about the NFL, talk about your perspective, what you see about the New York Jets from the outside looking in. You know, that's what we're all about here. So we have people that call in that are Bears fans. I've had Falcons fans, Patriots fans. We had a fan. Oh, Raiders fans. We have Raiders fans calling in here. Listen, you know, we're all about, you know, spreading love, positivity, and getting takes over here. So you don't have to be a Jets fan to call in, just in case some people thought that. All right. But again, when you call in, be patient. We get to everybody. Wait your time. My hold times are not long, and we'll get to you. But again, that ancient secret has been put out there. Val Outlaw hates when I tell people that, because that's, you know, some things that he may, you know, do a lot. But hey, you know, I'm just making sure that the playing field is fair and everybody knows. Okay. So yeah, we have a lot of fun over here. We also game from time to time. So if you happen to check in, you see your boy playing NBA 2K, Madden, Street Fighter, something, you know, Outlast, Resident Evil, whatever, right? Don't be shocked. Come on in, sit down with us and talk. You know, we talk about life. We have a lot of fun, and we do that. We have more content coming. Again, reaction videos have been out on the other Long Beach Joe Reacts channel, so check those out as well, and let me know what you folks think. If there's something you want to see me react to, go to that reaction channel, put it in a comment, and let me know. You know, let me know. I'm all about it. I'm having a lot of fun. I love doing that stuff. So more content is coming, and we're going to have a blast. Kenton says maybe a Packers fan Tuesday. Hey, we'll see. Hey, call in. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern when the show starts. Lines open up at 6:55 p.m. Eastern. So we have a lot of fun doing that stuff. So we're going to keep the content coming. Again, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern is going to be the next show. Also, I, you know, move around a lot, talk to a lot of different people. Just because you're a Jets fan that's been, you know, a Jet fan for 40 years, that doesn't mean I'm going to completely blow everybody away that's on the line just to bring you on the second that you call in, okay? I have a queue system. I go down that queue system because I respect everyone's time, okay? I love all Jets fans. I don't care if you've been a Jets fan for 40 years or 4 minutes. When you call in, we'll get to you. Believe me, we'll get to everybody. But I've gone back and forth with people that have been like, Joe, I've been a Jet fan for 30 years. The second I call in, you need to pick up my line. All those other, you know, those 7, 8, 9, 10 other people, just get them up out of here. Whoa. Okay, whoa. That's not how it works here. I respect everybody's time. I go down. Again, my wait times are not long. I get to everybody. So, you know, just be mindful of that as well. We have a lot of fun over here. So, yeah. I'm going to get on out of here, man. This has been crazy. What a crazy night, crazy show. Salutes to Kenton. Good to see you in here as well. Also, everyone, please subscribe if you have not subscribed and hit that notification bell. Give the videos a thumbs up if you haven't as well. GVH, always good to see you in here. GVH says, how's the health of that USC guy that got hurt at the Combine? I know you answered this before, but remind your take on USC linemen. We got to think Dwayne Brown. We got to think Dwayne Brown replacement, right? Yeah, it slips my mind. I think it was Vol. I forgot his name. I'm thinking about it right now, but I know the lineman you're talking about, he got hurt. They're talking about he's going to be okay. It may take a little bit of time after the draft for him to fully heal up, depending on, you know, again, the rehab and stuff. So we'll see. But he's a guy that the New York Jets could end up targeting. We'll see where he fits out. A lot of people talking about, I think about him being a guard at this point, but we'll see how things shake out. But it's looking like he's going to be okay. But like you said, you got to start thinking about a replacement for Dwayne Brown. And that replacement could be, you know, Mekhi Becton just moving back to the left side. But then you got to think, what about that right side, right? But then you also got to think, hey, we got Max Mitchell, who looked really good at right tackle. There's so many options for the Jets there. So, but we'll see. But I think the Jets will probably take a tackle in this upcoming draft. But we'll see there. But that the USC offensive lineman definitely could be a guy that could be in the sights of the New York Jets. I think he was like a guy that had like a 3rd round grade on him. I think it was like a 3rd round, maybe high 4th round grade on him, something like that, before he got injured. Might have been a little bit higher. But, yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. Salute to you, GVH. Always good to see you in here. Dino, salutes to you. Always good to see you in here as well. Let's see. David, always good to see you in here. David Gant, salutes to you as well. I just want to thank everybody for coming on by, man. Just saying whatever to your boy, interacting. Niner for Life, salutes to you. Good to see you in here as well. Everybody just coming through, saying what's up to your boy, man. J.E. salutes. NY Jets FL, always good to see you in here as well. Sean Bennett, salutes to you. Devin N, salutes to you as well. Good to see you in here, man. Just salutes to everybody that joined your boy. Vibes. Everybody that came on by and said what's up to me, man. Really enjoyed doing this and connecting with you folks. So I'm going to get on out of here now. I got to go. My schedule is crazy. Okay, listen, folks. Be safe, okay? Be safe out here. A lot of crazy things going on in this world. A lot of crazy people out here, all right? The world is getting more and more wild by the day, okay? I don't know. I don't know why, but it's happening, all right? Listen, be safe. Sit down with your friends, your family, your loved ones, all right? And make those memories. Eat some good food. Watch some good TV. Make the memories with people that you love the most. It's extremely important. I hope that it's important to you in your life because it's important to me and mine. All right. I'm going to get